about my senior capstone, which is conflict in interpersonal relationships. So technology is a huge part of our lives today. It's changed the way we communicate, and it's also become a little bit of a distraction. And I found an article in the Huffington Post of researchers who did a study about people who are easily distracted by their mobile phones when they're with their significant other. And 46% of the respondents said that they felt they were being ignored by their significant other due to their mobile phone distracting them. And 23% of that said that it caused issues within their relationship. And the main theory that's looked at in this presentation is the relational dialectics theory, which is the concept that the closer individuals become to each other, the more conflict will arise and ultimately pull them apart. And it's important to know this topic because we want to see couples strengthen their relationship rather than terminate it altogether. So my hypothesis is that cell phones can have different effects on different types of relationships. So long-distance relationship versus traditional relationships. The main points I'll be talking about are relationship satisfaction, effects of cell phone usage, and feelings of apprehension. So question, what is relationship satisfaction? Duran Miller Kelly, 2012, referred to it as a happy feeling towards your significant other or relationship. So these are positive emotions that are felt throughout the relationship that contribute to relationship satisfaction. So what are the factors that contribute to relationship satisfaction? The main one is communication. Communication is key in any relationship, whether it's a friendship, a family member, or just a romantic relationship. But it's really important in a romantic relationship because if you have negative emotions that surface during the relationship and you choose to not communicate those emotions to your significant other, they're going to build up over time and it's going to cause what Lovelace William called the first big fight. So according to Lovelace William 2008, the first big fight, it's really crucial how you communicate. And it can cause something called dating partner communication apprehension, which is anxiety that is felt, real or anticipated communication in the relationship. So this is like if you have a first big fight, you're just nervous of how it's going to go, how you're going to communicate. This is the anxiety that is felt during that. So the way in which you communicate with your significant other is really important because it's either going to help you get through the relationship or it's going to affect it and weaken it and possibly terminate the relationship. So next is effective cell phone usage. You can have all the great communication in the world, but there's still other factors that contribute to conflict in the relationship. One of those is cell phone satisfaction. And Duran Miller Kelly, 2012, defined it as a positive emotion towards how the cell phone is used in the relationship. So an example is if you're in a long-distance relationship, cell phones are a key role in them. So they help to keep communication going and open. But if, like in the article, if you're using it as a distraction, then it could be viewed as negative cell phone satisfaction. And there are many positive and negative aspects to cell phones. So the positives are helping communication keep going. It can help in long-distance relationships, keep communication going, help to see one another. But the negative aspects are things like keeping tabs on your significant other, or hiding information or deleting information, things that cause mistrust or anxiety within the relationship. So next is feelings of apprehension. These are negative feelings that are felt throughout the relationship, so things like jealousy or insecurity. You need to communicate these emotions because if you don't, it's going to cause conflict within a relationship and it's not going to help you to move forward in your relationship. So the sooner you create positive communication with these emotions, the better off your relationship will be. If you choose to suppress these emotions, it's going to cause a lack of communication and it's going to cause conflict within the relationship. And the other one is security. This goes along with attachment styles. If you're feeling insecure about your relationship, you're not sure how you feel like it's going, you need to communicate with that with your significant other because the quicker you talk about it, the more reassurance you're going to get. If you don't talk about it, you're not going to get that reassurance that you feel like you need, and it's going to cause conflict within the relationship. So for my case, I did a blog written by a college student at Longwood University, Katie. She was a sophomore, and she was a communications major like myself, and she graduated in 2014. So looking at the narrative, the blog was about Katie and her boyfriend and their long-distance relationship. They have been dating for about 6 months, and she wrote the blog on December 6, 2012. And she wrote the blog to give insight on interpersonal conflict that's experienced through the relationship and the approach that you can take to resolve that conflict. And she chose to write the blog because she wanted to give young couples who are getting into long-distance relationships feedback on what will be experienced in a long-distance relationship and what you can do to help improve the relationship and resolve conflict that might be experienced or felt during the relationship. And the outcome was that she was able to provide useful information to other young couples, and she had a stronger relationship because of it. So looking at the results, I chose to analyze my blog by looking at different approaches that Katie and her boyfriend took in their relationship. So the first one, looking at relationship satisfaction, was autonomy and connection. This is being independent versus dependent. Katie and her boyfriend, they were both very independent people, and they liked having their independence. They liked doing their own thing, but still being with each other. So Katie felt that this was one aspect of a relationship that helped strengthen it, because they had their own activities outside of the relationship, but they could still see each other every 2 weeks, helped keep their relationship strong, because you don't want to be around someone 24/7 because you might quickly get not want to be around them as much. So it's nice to have that independence, but also be with your significant other at times. So looking at the effects of cell phone usage, Katie talks about how every relationship, it takes work, but long-distance relationships, it takes extra work. So one of the things that you have to do is you need to know how to adapt your communication. And this is rather easy nowadays because we have cell phones. And this is one of the positive aspects of cell phones in the relationship. So Katie gave examples of things that she used with her cell phone to keep in touch with her boyfriend. So things like texting, phone calls, FaceTime, or even Skype dates. Those were just a few that she mentioned. And this helped to keep the communication going, and they could also see each other, not only just talk to each other, but they could also see each other face to face rather than being able to see each other all the time. They still had that communication and that visual image of each other to keep communication going. And looking at the feelings of apprehension, Katie used an approach called voice response. This was when Katie would have negative feelings that would rise. She would tell her boyfriend right away. She didn't wait to tell him. She would tell him, over the phone or over texting to nip it in the bud. She wanted to get it, she wanted to work through it then so that when they were together and they were spending time together, it was quality time. It was time well spent with one another. And the other approach that she used was a win-win approach. So if Katie and her boyfriend were with each other, and her boyfriend wanted to see a movie that wasn't necessarily her first choice, she would agree to go to it just because she knew that he would like it, and in return, he would let her pick where they go to dinner before that. So they both won, and they were both spending good quality time together. And lastly, Katie talks about her attachment styles and love styles. So before Katie and her boyfriend had dated, they were very good friends. They had a very strong friendship, which she felt made it easier to go into a romantic relationship. And having that strong foundation helped have that security that people feel they need in a relationship, having that reassurance that they have a good, strong relationship. And she also had a love style called storage. This is when you feel confident that you know that your significant other cares about you, loves you, whereas other couples might not feel the same. They might not have that storage love. They have insecurity. They doubt whether their significant other likes them or loves them or cares about them. So having that strong foundation helped them to have a very strong relationship and helped in all aspects of their relationship. So finally, to summarize what we've gone over, my case study dealt with interpersonal conflict that was experienced in a relationship and what could be done to help resolve the conflict. And any other conflicts that are seen in or experienced in the relationship, they need to be addressed in order to move forward with your relationship and to keep it strong. For future research, I think that couples or researchers should look at couples and the steps they take in communication because, like I said, communication is key in any relationship. You need to know how to communicate with your significant other in order to move forward and resolve the conflict. So knowing what strategies couples take and the steps they take in communication that were positive should be looked at in order to give the knowledge out to other couples to strengthen the relationships rather than terminating it altogether. And that's my presentation.